My name is Chuck Flick, and I have a ministry that I do through Broken Chains Church. I will share more about that later. I would like to give my testimony for you to hear it.
He cries in the corner where nobody sees. He's the kid with the story no one would believe. He prays every night, dear God, won't you please, could you send someone here who will love me?
I was born 1954. My parents were Calvin and Liz, and my father had a drinking problem, a bad drinking problem, and when my father drank, he was very physically abusive. I have 4 sisters, 2 older, 2 younger. My father abused my mother and abused me. I know what it's like to play on the floor of the bar while my father drank, and then he would drive us home. I know what it's like to be beaten. I know what it's like to be locked in the closet. By the age of 4, my father had gone to prison for child abuse and also for beating mom. And then after that, the children's welfare got called, and they took us from mom. I can still picture standing up in the back seat of the lady's car as we drove off and saw mom waving goodbye to us. My 2 older sisters were put into a children's home in Paulding. Myself and my younger sister, I call Dorothy, we were put into the system, the children's welfare system. My youngest sister, she was legally adopted. By this time, I had already learned how to be angry, how to be violent. We were put, Dorothy and I, with a couple that had one son. My foster father was a man that ruled with an iron fist. What my foster father said was law in the house for the children, for over his wife. He ruled. Started school, and school was very hard. First grade, from the first until the 12th. Trouble at school, trouble at home, trouble with my memories, trouble with the rule of my foster father. He was not a loving man. He didn't tell you did a good job or pat you on the back or give you hugs. That was not him. If he ever wanted to say anything good to me, he'd tell Mom to tell me. He could never face it, and so I grew up hating him, really. Why can't he tell me, I did a good job? Why can't he tell me he cared about me? But when I reached the 4th grade, I had a teacher, Miss Lowry, and she opened a door for me. One of the projects she had for us was she gave us a picture out of a magazine, and she wanted us to write a story, and so I did, and it was the only time all through the 13 years it took me to get through school, I got an A on it. And the A opened a door for me to start writing, and writing my feelings, and writing my hurts, and the pain, and the dead love, and the emptiness, and the sorrow, and the grief, and all that. She opened the door. And then I went to the fifth grade, and of course, then at grade I failed. It was my first male teacher, and he was also very, very strict, and so I failed. The second time I went through, I met a guy named John, and we would be friends until he died of cancer at 57. We were very, very close, and John was one of the things that really helped me through all of this. Junior high, I wanted to play basketball. I was tall and real skinny, and I could run. And so I told my foster parents. They went out and got the gym bag and the shoes and all that. Well, basketball lasted about 2 months, and then I came home and I told them that I quit basketball. I got sent to my room. No supper. And my foster father came up and gave me the beating of my life. And until the day they died, they never knew why I quit basketball. And why it is because I got tired of the other boys beating me up, pushing me in the shower with my clothes on, and just hurting me. I had taken it, and I finally could not take it anymore. And so with the child abuse from my father and the abuse from my foster father, and then the whole basketball thing, I grew up and I hated. And I hated with a rage. I hated everything. The system, my pastor, God, the whole shot. School, high school was even worse. I got picked on there too. Shoved in the girls' shower room into the hallway, out, clothes on, and just beat up. And so, yeah, there's a lot of anger and a lot of hate. I graduated in 1973. I don't know how, what I did. My foster parents were not loving people. I mean, they cared, and they say, we love you. And but I had fought my foster father from day one. There were holes in the wall, holes in doors. There were marks all over the house from me hitting things. School. My foster father, he would try to help me with my schoolwork, which meant starting at the dining room table, then going to the kitchen table, and then eventually going down to the basement because things got loud and things got heated. My foster father, I think, tried, but it was, Chuck, you're not this stupid. Look at Dorothy and Carla, and I would think, you judge me of being like my sisters who get straight A's. Why don't you help me? And there were nights we'd go until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It was hard. It was terrible. There was a lot of screaming, a lot of crying. To be honest with you, I hated those days, and I wanted to die so bad. I wanted to kill myself. The last time my foster father raised his hand to me, I was 17. At that time, I had a 12-gauge shotgun, a .22 high-fire rifle, and a handgun up in my room, and he knew it. And the last day, my foster mom was doing the dishes, and I was sitting at the table. We got to talk, and then we got to yelling, and he came out and raised his hand to strike me. And I thought, no more. And I stood up. I got about that far from his nose. I said, if you hit me, you will never hit me again. And I just stood there and stared at him. And all he did was lower his hand and walked out of the room. I had mentioned John. Once we got cars, I could call after having a bad day at school, a bad day at home. I could get John on the phone and say, meet me. And that's it, and hang up. John knew where, and so we would meet, and he just listened. John was a fantastic friend. It was John's that helped me through high school and through my foster parents. Graduated at 19 and left home, and I've been to California, Mexico, Canada, across the United States. Came back worked in Toledo and then moved to Bowling Green and got a job at BGSU. And then I got married at 26. I moved here and got a job at Kaufman's restaurant downtown and worked there until BGSU called me and said I had a job and but going back to school, one of the things I had never lost my temper at school except one time. Out of all the years, out of all the rage and the hate and the anger, I only lost my temper one time. I was a senior at Fenner County taking food service. That day I was sick, not feeling good, and one of the other guys, he came over and he started pushing me and shoving me. And being sick, plus having all the hate, the rage, and the anger and all that, I stood up, grabbed him by his shirt and bounced him off the opposite wall. From that time on, he never bothered me. That was the only time at school I ever lost my temper because it scared me. It scared me. I was so angry and so violent. And so it was, let me see, I started BGESU in 1980 and worked until 2000. We got married in 1980 to my wife, who also was abused as a child by a neighbor man, and so both of us having issues made our marriage rocky from the start. And so there we were. She had issues, I had issues. I had the anger, she had the anger. And so sometimes I think back and I think, where's the love? I didn't get it from my parents. I didn't get it from my foster parents. I didn't get it from children's welfare, from my case worker. We took in foster children who were also had been abused. We had seven different foster kids over these seven years. It was hard because I saw me in their anger and their rage and their hurt, and so and I took it out on my wife, and she took it out on me. There were I'm sorry about this. There were good times in our marriage, but there was also a lot of time of just rage and anger and hurt. I had been seeing different counselors, therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, since I was a child with rage. Eventually my wife and I got divorced, but before that, one of my counselors, Milt, we had talked for 2-3 years, and he said, you need to go to your foster father and forgive him. It took me months to get to that point. A lot of tears, a lot of rage, a lot of just hate. That day, after meeting with Milt, I drove to the nursing home where my foster father was. My foster mother was down having supper, and there was no one there except him. He'd been bedridden over 2 years and could not speak. And I walked in. I said, "Old man, do you know me?" And he shook his head, and I went to his bed, leaned over, and kissed my foster father on the forehead. I looked into his eyes, and I said, "Old man, I forgive you." And I turned and I walked away. 3 days later, my foster father died. I am not sure how I felt when I found out he had died. There were no tears, no joy, just he died. 3 weeks later, my foster mother died, and did I cry then? Yes. Because, after they had both died, I kept thinking, where was the love? Children need love growing up. Adults need understanding and compassion and caring. Because the adults grow up, but they're still broken from their childhood. And that was me. And so I was still angry. I still hated. Married on March 4th, 1994. My wife wasn't home. She was at some nursing convention, and I was outside playing ball with the neighbor boy. And God tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Come to church." I heard it, and I said, "God, Kathy's not home. It's Sunday. I just want to play ball here, watch TV." A couple minutes later, he taps me on the shoulder again and says, "Come to church." And I just said, no, not. And a couple minutes later, he tapped me on the shoulder again, and he says, "Come to church." I do not remember leaving the house, getting in my car, driving to our church then, and when I found myself setting in the back pew. After the guest speaker got done speaking, they had an altar call, and I stood up, and the Holy Spirit moved me out into the aisle and helped me walk down the aisle. I am bawling like a baby. I got down on my knees and I wailed and I cried. And during the middle of all that, I saw God pick up little Chucky and stand him up and dust him off. And that night, God removed the hurt and then the pain and the rage and the dead love and the sorrow, everything. He took it out of me. 2 weeks later, he called me to do Operation Child Life.
Who will love me for me? Not for what I have done or what I will become. Who will love me for me? 'Cause nobody has shown me what love really means. What love really means.
God called me to do Operation Child Life, which it is a counseling session for healing adults of their past. When God first said this to me, I said, God, that's crazy. You know my past and what I suffered. And God said, you will do Operation Child Life. Something you need to know, I cannot do Operation Child Life without Jesus there. You have to be a committed Christian. You have to know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior to take this journey. This journey is hard. It's ugly. It smells. It's horrible. I have a helper named Debbie Stone. She's also there. And with Jesus, me, and her, we do Operation Child Life on Wednesdays at noon. It is a journey of breaking chains. The rope and the chains of bondage, because that's what they are living in. The robe is the robe of sorrow and of death. To this date, in 2013, God has healed nine people through Operation Child Life. I have seen God take people through some horrific stuff: rape, incest, physical abuse. There is so much pain throughout this world, and I am trying to make the pain a little bit less. I have seen a session with one person take 2 or 3 months. I've seen it take over a year. One thing, I will not quit you. if you come to me and you want your chains broken, I will be, Debbie, and I will be with you until you are through. I think back of the years I spent with all of the hurt and the rage and all that, and I think how other people, you know, how they suffer, and so God's called me to this, and this is something that I do. We meet on Wednesday mornings at Broken Chains Church under Pastor Bob Lamb and his wife Deanna. We meet on Wednesday mornings at noon. To contact Operation Child Life, contact me at 419-494-9614. I am willing to meet you here at the church, at your church, at any place you would feel comfortable talking about this, and I would deeply appreciate hearing from you, pastors and counselors and all that. And so, I just want to say thank you for your time and concerning this matter. Thank you.
Her office is shrinking a little each day. She's the woman whose husband has run away. She'll go to the gym after working today. Maybe if she was thinner, then he would have stayed. And she says, "Well, love me for me, not for what I have done or what I will become. Who will love me for me? 'Cause nobody has shown me what love really means, what love really means." He's waiting to die as he sits all alone. He's a man in a cell who regrets what he's done. He utters a cry from the depths of his soul. "Oh Lord, forgive me,